Welcome back, everybody, to Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. I'm Garrett Weinzierl. Kyle Fergusson is here, and my God, dude, do we have a show today? There's so much to talk about.
There is, and a lot of personal experience. What a crazy week.
You and I have not played together in Heroes of the Storm outside of Bonanzas in quite a while.
You know, quick match is, do you want to aim at the really quick thing in an unstructured environment? Getting what you want in unranked draft is pretty rough because you're usually having to do an early pick or a cleanup. And what the hey? All of a sudden, Blizzard puts out an addition to a mode that makes queue times 30 seconds instead of 3 minutes.
Dude, the queues are ridiculous.
It's something. A lot of our discussion today is going to be around Team League and what's going on over there. So enjoy, because it's a new era.
Yeah. So I got to say, man, so if folks missed it, if they don't watch twitch.tv/Kyle Fergusson, first of all, shame on you. Why aren't you watching Kyle? He makes some fantastic Heroes streaming content. And also, I joined you on Monday for a Team League stream with Mr. John Jagger. We just 3-stacked it, backfilled with folks who were just queuing into Team League, and we destroyed.
Yeah, we had a good time. We had a real good time.
It was fantastical.
I mean, we did have a bit of a perfect storm here. John has been playing tank for me for a long time now, playing a lot of aggressive tanks like Diablo, Stitches, some Leoric, Artanis when it's called for, occupying that solo lane business. I've been on just get numbers, top damage characters for this whole past season and now into this season. And you're cleanup McGee with that Kerrigan. So I will say you stole the thunder, man, because John was playing great. I, to my own horn here, was playing great, had fantastic, huge numbers. But here comes Garrett on the Kerrigan and just gets all the kills.
Yeah, it's all about style points, right? Like you're
yeah, that's what it is.
You're back there playing like a really solid Halo 2 battle rifle game, and I'm in there like, what? I'm sorry, are you playing Halo? Because I'm playing Devil May Cry. I'm all about the style points.
It was good. It was a delight to watch you go. I'm glad I got to see you on Kerrigan before next week, when we can assume that a patch is going to hit her.
I can't believe we didn't get a patch this week.
They like their 2 weeks of data. They give it a little bit of time.
Yeah. I can't complain, right? Like 2 weeks. Like, I can't imagine a world where Hearthstone gets like every 2 weeks a little tweak here and there. That would be insane. That would be breakneck pace by that game standards. But still, the Kerrigan is ridiculous right now.
It was a lot of fun, and how cool that our proclivity, our desire for team play was so impactful in this environment where the other two people joining us, whether or not they got on voice, wanted to be a part of that and wanted to be team players.
Yeah.
It's so different than duo queue was so long ago now, but duo queue Hero League, where basically, hey, we're the 2-stack, follow us or else, or check out our sweet combo because we're going to win the game for you.
Right. Yeah, there's at least at this moment, at the precipice of this change, there's a lot more willingness to adapt, which I'm really enjoying. And that's not to say it was all like rosy. I mean, we had a couple funky drafts where I was sitting there going, man, I don't know, Kyle. I don't know if this is gonna work. And we even I'm fairly certain we got stream sniped at the end. But
we did, in that fabulous story to sum it up. Well, Garrett, also, you do kind of play the meta right now, as accidental as it may be.
Brightwing is not meta. Go look at Hot Logs. No.
Perhaps, but maybe they were scared of the new stuff. Either way, it was a little suspect losing the Kerrigan, losing the Brightwing that you moved on to, and then the first pick is your Toronto you were hovering.
Yeah, it was everything. Like the Kerrigan was like, okay, yeah, Kerrigan, no surprise there. But after that, it was everything I hovered over. So that was a little ridiculous, but didn't matter because I ended up on Lily, got MVP,
B-stepping Lily,
and we ended the game with a 4-level lead.
All I have to say is if they didn't stream snipe, they were really curious why Lily was B-stepping and so proud of kicking their butts. What is wrong with that Lily over there? She's pissed.
I was not aware that I could go beast mode while playing Lily, but apparently you can. So that was fun.
Hey, talk to Lily mains.
I like Lily. I'm a convert. I've been converted for years now, but it's not the hero I think of when I'm like, I'm gonna crap all over you. That's not what I think of. But yeah, it was just a good damn time, man. And then you and I played some games just off stream together, just for shits the other night. I was up late. I was wired on too much caffeine. You're like, what are you doing up? I'm like, doesn't matter. Let's play. And freaking Sonya is back. Sonya's a solid choice again. And it's just, this is my meta, man. Everything I love is good.
Yeah, and with the tanks taking those off lanes for so long, people kind of forgot how to manage merc camps. So it is bringing about a new wild meta. And when we go to look at stats for our shows, we're gonna have to make a choice now. Are we looking at Hero League, the lesser played version of the game, than Team League?
I think it's fine. We can be fluid, right? It's right there. It's available at the click of a button. I mean, I would say going forward, we could just look at both as long as the stats stay the way it is. I mean, I stand by my suspicions last week. I don't know if it'll stay, right? I don't know if like this is it for the rest of time. Team League will be more popular than Hero League. Time will tell, but at the moment, I think it's worth looking at both.
More on that later.
Yes. But before we get into the news, there's just like news that's so big and so gargantuan that we kind of have to talk about it just right out the gate. And that is that Mike Morhaime has stepped down as president of Blizzard Entertainment.
Yeah. And it's a bit of an end of an era feeling, certainly around the Blizzard fandoms.
Yeah, I've seen 3 million tweets that started with that, including my own, on the subject of Morhaime stepping down. But yeah, man, Blizzard flux, dude.
I mean, if it could just be that they announced that, no, we're not doing any more StarCraft, Mike Morhaime, and he's like, all right,
I'm out.
That's all I was here for. I'm out.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, dude's he has been going nonstop for 27 years. The man has earned his retirement. And of all of the shifts we've seen with different teams over at Blizzard, whether it was Metzen leaving a couple of years ago and everything that just happened with Team 5, Morhaime is the one that didn't really surprise me. It had to happen at some point, right? I just assumed at some point Morheime's going to be like, all right, yeah, I think it's time to retire. But it's very close to BlizzCon. Now I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm sure this was very well planned ahead of time, but I love the idea because World of Warcraft's executive producer Jalen Brack is taking over as the new president. In my head, I'm just like, I find it so amusing to think that Mike Morhaime is like, and I'm retiring. By the way, J. Allen Brack, good luck with the opening ceremony. See ya.
Right? Yeah, it's led to a lot of discussion about, a lot of people are scared, as often when times change, and you can't blame them. It is, a passing of the torch, and it's led to some really cool discussion for Heroes fans because we've kind of had a renewing of our appreciation for our devs. The Heroes devs are fabulous. They are hardworking. On the outside, it looks like the team is small, but very dedicated. And they want this game to be as big as it can be, the best game it can. And people are scared about the future of other games like World of Warcraft. And of course, Alan Brack taking over. He's known best to the World of Warcrafters, particularly the classic fans, as the you think you want it, but you don't guy. And naturally, he's burned them before.
Yeah, to a certain degree. I don't know though, because I look at him as an alumni of Blizzard's first big monumentous growth period, which was the release of World of Warcraft. I enjoyed Warcraft 3. That's where I got on board, but where I became hooked, where it became a cornerstone of my day-to-day life was World of Warcraft. And so Jalen Brack kind of stepping up into that position, to me, I'm like, yeah, okay, makes total sense to me.
Well, and as easy it is to throw his old words in his face, and that's an extreme and not really my own opinion there. He was the guy who got out there and made the classic announcement as well. It's some big shoes to fill, particularly on that World of Warcraft position. But BFA's real good to me. Well, we'll lead with that. To me, it's been a fantastic expansion, and all these fears of changeovers, and I mean, we don't even have the same music or lore directors even. And now with Mike Morhaime gone, seems like things are going to be okay.
I think so too. Blizzard has been in flux for a while now. For me, I've seen it as it's been changing ever since Chris Metzen left, and I think it's been fine. I mean, if we're on the WoW train, I think Legion was amazing. BFA, while I agree with the majority of the criticisms about that expansion, I'm with you. Overall, I'm having a blast with it. Like it's fulfilling my desires from what I want from an expansion in that regards. And Heroes has been doing great.
It'll be interesting to see what the new face of Blizzard is. I think one of the scary things about a changeover like this is perhaps the people sort of joining the board. Alan Adham is, back in 2016, was quoted to be in charge of the cool new stuff, rumored to be leading the new IPs. Ray Gresco was the production director of Diablo 3 and the producer of Overwatch. And these guys are now kind of moving up on the table. It's so spoiling to be a Blizzard game and be like, ooh, we're one of four. We're going to get we're the fourth child, but, we still get to sit at the table every night.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about the schedule later. There's some there's some things to infer from there. But overall, again, while this is surprising, it of all of the big changes lately, it's probably the least surprising to me. I'm gonna miss Mike Morhaime. Him getting up to the podium, to me, always felt like, despite his desires, like, he never seemed to me like a guy that just wanted to hog the podium. He was just like, well, I'm the head of this company. It's my duty. I have to get up and address everybody. But I would much rather just be sitting over in the StarCraft arena watching some esports.
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny that he did look like he wanted to run away at times, but that's what made him so endearing.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, I just had so much respect for that, and he always, like despite that, he always stirred up those like old feelings of just pure joy around the Blizzard and the Blizzard communities.
He made BlizzCon feel like a LAN party. Like, he was the guy that greet you at the door for your first one. You're bringing in your computer, your big screen with your, I don't even know what they call it anymore, right? A screen with the thing on the back, Garrett. What do they call those nowadays?
A CRT monitor?
Like, you're carrying that thing out of your dad's car that you drove there, and you're getting set up, and he's like, hey, welcome to the first LAN party. This is going to be a good time. And you're like, thanks, man. I don't know anybody here, but I'm stoked to play some Unreal Tournament 2000.
Yes, yeah, I'm with you, dude. So I'm gonna really miss that, and I'm also really curious to see what the opening ceremony is like this year without Mike Morhaime, because it's not gonna be the same. But we've already gone through this. I said the exact same thing when Chris Metzen left. I was like, oh my god, how do you kick off BlizzCon without Chris Metzen? I don't know, but they've been doing it. I mean, they've been doing it well. So.
I'm also just curious to see in 5 years what these guys look like, maybe unleashed. Seeing Ben Brode do panels right now and so full of energy, so excited to just be like in the game making trenches, wondering like what stats best on whatever card he's working on. It's nice to see, as I'm sure he was locked in boardroom meetings half the day.
Yeah. That said, though, I never really saw him not energized on stage, even at the tail end of his Hearthstone career. But yeah, it's interesting. So I'm excited for the changes, to be honest. I think the direction of the majority of Blizzard games have been good, even with some of my favorite creators out of the picture. So gonna miss him, but bring on this BlizzCon. I want to see what new Blizzard looks like.
Yeah, and it'll take time. Just like Chris Metzen did it, there were ripples in that pool for a long time. And That's why to me it's so reassuring that BFA and other games have been so successful, because those ripples are mostly gone now. Those are new people's ideas.
Yeah. But there's a lot more heroes to talk about. So let's get right into that.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Click the play button, and let's get started.
All right, so you already alluded to this, but according to Hotslogs, Team League is now more popular than Hero League. In the last week, the amount of Hero Leagues or Team League games logged surpassed Hero League by over 3,000.
Yeah.
So not a huge spread.
No. I mean, we're looking at 14,000 Hero League games and 17,000 Team League games. But when you sort of consider who's uploading to Hotslogs, kind of makes you wonder. Wouldn't you figure the Hero League people would be all over those stats? Team League's more casual. But people are putting their replays up on the site. And of course, I mean, this is all compared to Quick Match at 69,000 compared to those 10,000 ranked modes.
Yeah, I was about to say, if anything, the story here is, oh my god, y'all play a lot of Quick Match.
They play a lot of AI too. It's kind of crazy.
It's fun. It's quick. You get to play what you want to play. Don't need to worry about a draft environment, and just go.
It's just not something I pursue at this length of the game too much anymore.
I'm not trying to sell you on it. I'm just saying I understand. I don't play Quick Match that much either.
I see y'all out there with check out my level, 1,000 Brightwing, and we're like, what the heck happened here? How did this happen? Granted, 100 is probably a more logical number for that. It's still, it's great that people just want to play that character. It's always mystifying to me because so much of the strategy and the joy of this game has developed in the draft mode. And to that note, to talk about what's happened with Team League, it's one thing to say the queues are quick, because they are. Oh my God. To put that in any sort of perspective, we did our stream together, and it's a 2.5-hour stream. We played 7 games with about 30-second queues each. The next day I did my Hero League stream, 800-second queues. That's 13 minutes per queue. And I got 4 games done in that time.
And you're still mid-diamond at the moment, right?
Yeah, Diamond 3.
Yeah, so you're not even in the upper echelons. So that is obscene. So how many games total did you get done in the same amount of time?
4.
4. So 7 on Monday in Team League, 4 games in the same amount of time on Tuesday in Hero League.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to happen to a certain degree. And what I'm attempting to do here is dodge the matchmaking conversation around Hero League. I feel like it's been had in the community. It's been had on the show ad nauseum.
Sure.
So in broader strokes, Team League, by its nature, has extremely relaxed queue rules in terms of how it teams you up and the ranks and the MMRs that each individual player is at.
It's also worth noting that in Team League, when the core is open and you've got 5 social people all in comms together, and at least 3 of them maybe are even friends, like we were, you make a core call and you end the game at 15 minutes rather than 25. So some of those games might just be shorter in the first place.
That's true as well, but I'm assuming it's because of the relaxed rules.
Yeah, definitely. And there's downsides to that, but let's continue on these pros for a moment, because you get that fast queue and it's like, wow, whoa, I get to draft with a really quick queue time. This is the heroes I want. And then all of a sudden you realize that you can pick in any order. And it's hard to express how much that means. I'm not being like cheesy. It's just so amazing for the Genji who's 4th pick to be like, I'm ready. And you go, yeah.
Go
How
for
about,
it,
or
man.
even last pick is Kerrigan, and you go, this can happen.
That to me is my favorite thing beyond getting to play with friends in a points-based draft environment. But yeah, the any order pick, yes, it opens the door for someone just slamming the pick button as fast as they can on a pick that you disagree with should be first pick. But I think that particular risk is far from outweighing the benefits.
Well, and from what I'm hearing, that's not happening to anybody. There's very little pre-pick trollage.
I mean, yeah, that's all anecdotal. So that's why I was just getting to the point of like, I don't care if that does happen every now and then. I prefer to have the option of it working in my favor.
Well, and it's hard to accept that as a risk because that is every Hero League game. You get in a game and you happen to have Illidan main in first pick. But that Illidan's got so many counters. If they get an Arthas, that Illidan might just be done for. There's blinds all over this game right now, and they're all in the top win rates of the game. It's really dangerous to be an Illidan main, but you happen to have him. He's in the first pick, and well, bad luck there. And if that guy in my team league is like, I'm a Illidan, and he slams that button, like, I'm like, well, this is just status quo.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. So far, I'm enjoying it. I mean, where's your head at? What do you think? Are you being seduced? Are you thinking to yourself, maybe my stream becomes a team league stream?
It's difficult to say that because Hero League has had a lot of work put into it, and my experience in Team League is two-sided at the moment. Because my experience with you, with one or two buddies, with even a group of 4, like we did with Jeff Kanata's stream yesterday, those are all really solid. And the system is able to adapt pretty well and very quick for queue times to put someone like that into Team League. In our group, we had a lot of mixed player numbers. We had a lot of different leagues. We had a lot of different levels of our overall account. And it found us a game pretty quick, possibly by just saying, 5th is open. I've got the perfect pick here. Fill it out. Let's get him in a game. When you go in as a stack of 5, the queue time is still 300. It's pretty long because it has to deal with the locked-in confusion that you've given it. All those friends. My Rainbow League I do with the core guys and Kristen. I mean, that is basically one person of each rank. And it had to think about it a long time. And we did face last night Smurfs, boosts. This particular Li Ming player was not Bronze 2. And they destroyed us. They enacted well cheese on us with a Genji who went around at the start of the game and destroyed all of our wells, putting us at a disadvantage from before the gates, or that first fight even goes in the middle. And there was nothing this Rainbow team could have done about that, in a sense.
And that's another one of the risks you opened yourself up to, right? By the nature of the league. But it comes back to is it worth it? Does that bad experience, does the risk of having that bad experience again outweigh the potential rewards of playing with your friends in a coordinated environment?
And the ability to pick in any order, which means our support main isn't trapped in the early picks or the late picks, losing their few picks with casual players, that they can only play, 2 heroes at this level, and then they lose those 2, and then we're kind of in a bad position in ourselves without having been smurfed or fighting some sort of boost or confused matchmaking issue. As a streamer, it's a very interesting choice because I feel like a lot of the entertainment value of doing Hero League is, of course, what will we see today? What wackadoo dude is going to end up in my game tilted as all heck? I had a Kerrigan this week who missed her first ban and then said, sorry, guys, I was yelling at my last tank. They were less tilted than the Brightwing ended up being in my game. It was quite the show. The crowd loved it. That's good TV.
I'm glad that the crowd loved it, but that's not the best for you. It's the most enjoyable experience you could be having.
Right. And when you're doing points and it's a rank you've worked for, that's a whole different puzzle. But for good TV, Hero League makes some darn good TV. The weird thing right now is you're finding more team-minded players in the Team League sphere. Even if they just have one friend, that's one friend more than that perhaps Hero League guy has made over his hero career. And they're more social, they're more adept, they're more friendly a lot of the time. They're more positive because they're used to playing with other people. They're not as savage, they're not as meta-minded. They're interested in new ideas and what might happen in the game for now. You know, my placements were fantastic. My placements were very active. People were very excited to see where they ended up. People were very forgiving, perhaps because the points were going and yelling in their faces that they're about to demote and whatnot. And that may be a sort of system problem that causes this. I also wonder if we have a little bit of a investment issue. Kind of like what happens with World of Warcraft. Hey, there's this new fabulous game. Well, you know, I've been playing World of Warcraft for 10 years. I'm not going to play your fabulous game. But I really hate World of Warcraft. It's like, well, why are you playing the game you hate? Because I've been doing it for 10 years. Well, walk away. You know, it's kind of it's a madness. So I wonder how much of the negativity of Hero League is, I'm Diamond 3. I'm almost Masters. If I could just get Masters, then I could quit and play Team League all the rest of the season. And then I could have fun. But right now, it's Hero League time. And I'm facing that right now in that queue.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I see where you're getting at with all of that. I will say I personally have I've been seduced after all the very positive Team League experiences I have had. I'm looking at Hero League going, why would I hit this button at this point?
Well, I did some things even on top of it. You get bonus XP for playing Team League, 50% compared to the 25% of Hero League if you're looking for XP, if you're looking to level to get loot boxes and stuff like that. There's no rank decay in the higher modes at the moment, something that could be easily fixed for sure. But those things sort of combine into something that just might be more joyous to do in the first place. Granted, this week I did sit down for a 2-hour stream and I solo queued Team League. And what I found was I made friends and ended up in a 5-stack at the end of both of those adventures.
That's what I was talking about last week. I don't play Overwatch anymore, but that's what I love about Overwatch.
That's what naturally happened. It was in a game. We won. The guys were like, let's all team up after this. You say yes. You get in a team. You win some games. Eventually you lose one. That's when people are like, all right, I should quit for the day. But you have this great run and you meet new people and make new friends. And that is just an overall more joyous experience.
And you have a positive losing environment too, like you just talked about. Like even if it's like, all right, that's the point. But it's not like everyone's like, you. Let me tell you what I think of you, because it's your fault. No, it's always like, all right, well, we gave him hell, didn't we? Yeah. Friend me if you got room. All right, thanks. See you maybe on the weekend. Bye.
Well, and that ending can be a joyous experience, and maybe in this bizarre, mixed up, crazy world of Hero League, when I win a game, let's say I crush in Hero League, completely dominate, and I queue up again real fast, one of my thoughts is, boy, I don't hope I end up with that team. I hope some of the guys I just won with are on my team. Wouldn't that be nice? And instead, in Team League, I'm in control of that.
Yeah.
I joined up with my fellows. And when we lost that game eventually, they had just seen me play fabulous for 2 games in a row. As things went awry, as we got 3 levels down, we were all getting schooled. Nobody was mad because nobody sucks.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Everyone knows what you're capable of.
Yeah.
It's good. So yeah, I guess to complete the circle, I think any risk of highly tuned Team League cheese is absolutely worth it when you tie it back in to the extremely short queue times. Because if I waited 13 minutes and lost to bad Team League cheese, not that bad. It also ties back into the PUBG conversation we were having a couple weeks ago. It's all about your time investment. A loss isn't as punishing if you didn't wait too long to get into that experience, and it doesn't take you too long to start fresh again.
And that's where the what ifs come in. Like, is this going to be people's main mode? Like I said, on placement day, Hero League was packed. It was quick. People were excited to see where they ended up. But then all those names, a lot of names I recognize, they were in my Team League. And they continue to play. Placers have continued to play after placing in Team League. Will the casuals who build up so much of that pool, will they keep playing after they know they've gotten their crab, their ranked reward mount for this season? That's the question.
Time will tell. But in the meantime, I would just like to say, damn, congrats to the Hero dev team for just trying something, for kind of just flipping a switch, seeing how it works, because I think we've landed on something pretty damn fun and positive.
we don't have a lot of time until BlizzCon, so I'm not expecting this to propel to big change. Maybe talked about future change in those meetups we're gonna have, but that pick in any order, it's ready, guys. Like we've been talking about swapping characters for a long time. Forget it. I don't want to swap with some guy. I don't want anybody deciding what I'm going to play. Let us pick in any order. It's ready. It's great. It's perfect.
I'm with you. I'm all for it. We got some emails about Team League. Zach wrote in, and it basically is just double downing on our on our praises of the queue time, saying that in his experience, he went from 400-second queues down to 160 at extremely late hours because he has an infant daughter to take care of. So that's awesome. He asked what our experience was. I think we basically gave our experience. But another listener wrote in, again, the email is itncast@gmail.com if you want to send in some emails. But Steven writes in and says, at the end of the season, I figured, what the hell? I'll go for the Team League mount. I was a bit apprehensive. Ranked anything seems to be filled with salt. I used only the A-Move chat channel to find Team League groups. Everyone was respectful to their teammates. Games were screw up either it's okay or silence. Not a single mean word in 10 games. Make a great play. Good job, everybody. Playing HOTS with others can be either really positive experience or make me want to throw the keyboard out the window. I want to thank the community for fostering such a positive experience.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, and again, if you're not in there, type /join space AMOVE-TV, AMOVE-TV.
Get out of the way on Ranked Draft.
Yeah. There's no point. Just get in the Team League, have some fun. Why not? I'm over the moon. I almost said over the hill, and that is wrong. That is wrong. So.
We've been at this game a long time.
I might be doing a 10-hour road trip tomorrow, and I might be a little loopy at the moment. But, yeah, moving on from Team League, because we'll get back to it a little bit when we get into strategy. Let's talk about Brightwing and Kerrigan, other than just how awesome I am at both of these heroes.
All right.
So they both got the reworks last week. We've had some time now to see the statistics, to play them, to have experiences with these two heroes, and HOTS Logs is now a halfway decent place to go look and see these statistics. And Kerrigan is running away with one of the most impressive win rates we've seen since Raynor's first week after his rework.
Or maybe if we didn't ban Asmodan as much, but he has been reined in as well.
Yeah. That's a good point, because I still think of Asmo as potentially oppressive.
Yeah.
He just doesn't make it into a lot of games right now, which means I'm having to learn how to play against Garrosh again, by the way. Side note.
Yeah, he's not a joy to play against. He'll sneak back in. But, next week we can expect the Kerrigan nerf to happen. She's currently at 59% and still climbing.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot. And when you lock in her particular build, the main build, you're going to see an even more oppressive win rate.
Which I wasn't even doing this build, and I was just owning.
No, you weren't, because this is what I see in the world.
There's some overlap, but every day I looked at HOTS Logs, like it was all over the place, so I just I didn't bother. This week we finally have like a good amount of stats, so I mean there's some overlap. I am a big fan of Fury of the Swarm at 1. I love Kinetic Fulmination at 4. But at 7, I've been going Boundless Fury just because I like that extra charge of Ravage, even though Bladed Momentum is just running away with the pick rate.
Well, Boundless Fury is an absolute delight, and for anyone who's played Kerrigan before, makes her so much fun to play.
Yeah, and then this shouldn't surprise you because my pick at 13 was extremely obvious on Monday.
Oh, Chrysalis.
Yeah.
But it looks like Volatile Power has the win rate.
Yes, and I totally get it. But
Yeah.
I would like to campaign for Chrysalis to be renamed Bacon Saver.
It's pretty good, though. Of course, it was my first game with a Chrysalis Kerrigan and my Stukov. I violently tried to find you to throw a booger at you and didn't know where Kerrigan went.
But it didn't matter because I came out healed. It was that particular game too. I mean, with the Falstad Hinterlands Blast coming in. I mean, they're pretty telegraphed, so Chrysalis can pick up a lot of value there.
Yeah, dodging just exact abilities was a really good feat to pull during those particular games. I think volatile power is a huge power spike. Blizzard likes to nerf based on popularity, and we're looking at close to 80% pick rates on some of these talents. So it's pretty clear which ones are going to be going away.
Yeah. So a lot of overlap otherwise, but yeah, I've been since her rework. I've basically been playing a home brewed build. Not based off of any other looking at any other Kerrigans or stats, but yeah, I understand how it kind of landed on what it is. But I'm sure once I'm back from my trip, it will be different.
Well, I believe even there's a combination with the Fury of the Swarm, which does the splash auto attacks and the bladed momentum, giving you reduced cooldowns with your auto attack hitting a hero. If you splash that auto attack, bonus cooldowns.
Yeah, it's nice. It's very nice. So, yeah, I mean,
keep banning her.
Yeah, just keep banning Kerrigan. Don't let her through. It's she's crazy. She is just absolutely crazy. And then Brightwing. Brightwing has stabilized. She was on a bit of a fall. So she got a rework. Her popularity spiked and her win rate dropped. Now her popularity has dropped and her win rate is climbing back up towards 50%.
To be expected. One of the oddities about Brightwing right now, and in fact, Anubarak is doing all right himself. It's those high win rate blind characters. And we talked about this last week on kind of how to draft. When you see blind characters picked up, you grab the mages. When you have the blind characters, you take the mages. You want to be full of blinds and full of mages, and if they don't have the blinds, you take the auto attackers. It's that sort of thing. So Brightwing works really well into this because if they start grabbing at the mages, you have a Nubarak with his new reduced cooldown spell or shield, and Brightwing, who's really good at recovering versus these spells, helping people dodge them, as well as Tyrande. So we've got a really cool rock, paper, scissors, more like rock, scissors, but a really cool draft game going on at the moment. When Brightwing's applied correctly versus the right team, she does wonders. But if you see that enemy in Nubarak and the Brightwing, because your team got an early Kael'thas, you just throw a Rainer on the business, and that enemy team is in a pretty rough spot. They're going to have a really tough time versus that one auto attacker.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to double down on all of the spell armor, but what I like about there being multiple options for, spell defense is that you don't have to double down. There's options. If Brightwing gets taken or banned out, or Tyrande, a lot more likely, gets taken or banned out, you have your Brightwing, you have your Anubarak as other ways around the resurgence of Li Ming and, of course, your Jaina's and your Kael'thas's.
There's also just a playstyle problem that is not entirely obvious, but makes perfect sense in our current meta. Blink Heal is going to be your better pick here because we're in Mobility Town. You need to be mobile, and moving your enemies makes them mobile for free. And that it's a bit silly, but Emerald Wind is really good when you're fighting things like Arthas as the main tank, Zul'jin as the main enemy. Emerald Wind will often just push that mobile enemy that you're trying to kill out of reach of your immobile characters, making it hard for everybody on both sides.
Yeah. I think I like where both these heroics are at right now because I think there's a time and a place for each one, and you are making a decision based on what you're going up against.
I really like seeing Blink Heal, though.
I do too. I'm glad that there's a reason to take it again, just because I like saving lives. I mean, we had did I only get one Brightwing game in, or was there more than one? Whatever. Anyway, I think
there's only the one.
I was saving your Jaina's butt like crazy, and it felt really good.
It was good, and I felt it, which allowed me to get there out on the field and get some crazy business done. The team is aware. They've said so much on Reddit that their reworks are a little powerful. That every time they rework a hero, they tend to be in the upper win rates, and they've said they're keeping an eye on it at the moment. There are outliers, but Chromie has bounced back. She's at a flat 50%, almost 51 now. Brightwing is at 49%, but kind of climbing back up. But things like Kel'Thuzad, Tyrande, Kerrigan, certainly, Asmodan, Raynor, they keep having these times in the sun that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Brightwing is the outlier right now. I don't think she's at any risk of becoming oppressive.
Yeah, and Chromie being one of the big examples, too.
Yeah. Yeah, although, man, I don't know. I know it was a rework, but it was hard not to look at Chromie's quote-unquote rework as not just a nerf.
Well, and a gameplay fix, a frustration alleviation.
Mm-hmm. Even compared to similar heroes like Tracer or Genji, who saw the same kind of changes for the same kind of reasons.
It's also important to note that things like supports, because it is one of the most targeted classes for this entire year, get changed very fast. There's not as much time with them on the top win rates. They receive nerfs pretty quickly to make sure that pool doesn't get out of hand.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's basically what's happened since last week. Brightwing is stabilizing and Kerrigan is just running amok.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about BlizzCon, because the schedule's out. So we know how many panels for heroes there is. And the answer is 3. 3 panels.
Which matches last year, I believe.
I believe so as well. Which is fine. That's an average amount. This isn't StarCraft has 1. So
on day 2.
On day 2, yeah. They don't even get their What's Next panel on the first day, which every other franchise does. Heroes, their What's Next panel, that's what it's called every year. It's just basically what they announce at the opening ceremony. Here's where it gets detailed further.
And then day 2 is going to be on the same mythic stage, the big stage, the deep dive, which is often a bit more philosophical, where they're playing to take the game, more nuances about maybe some of the characters they minorly touched on in the What's Next, maybe a rework coming out. But this is your chance to see what they're planning for the future. And oftentimes these are thoughts that may not even come to fruition in the next year. The deep dive last year talked all about the personal MMR, trading your picks, things that haven't happened in game.
I would expect some of the devs to be on guard for defending some of those things that haven't made it, or made it and then were quickly removed.
Absolutely.
But I'm anxious to hear. I'm not going in guns blazing like, how dare I just want to know where their head's at.
Yeah, and it does make you wonder, what is it that we need from them this year? Because people are always going to say, you see things on Twitter check out it. Chromie is off 50% off. Fixed matchmaking. That's not related to the statement. Thank you for your contribution. It's easy to say that things might be wrong, but this is not the place for that conversation.
Yeah.
What'd be really interesting to me would be to hear what's fun. What does it mean that we play Team League now more than Hero League? How are you going to encourage the fun in your ranked modes? Do we need, one of the big conversations, do we need Hero League and Team League? Can they be one and the same?
I think it's early to have that conversation now, but come BlizzCon, I think we'll have a better idea if that's a relevant question to ask.
Well, and there's also, these are going to take time, certainly. Like, to complain about Smurfs are one thing, particularly when a bronze one like we faced last night was purposely tanked in some sort of bizarre act of queuing with their friends for easy games. But when you get oddities like Grandmasters ending up in gold, did they fool around in the past there? I'm Plat 2 compared to my Diamond 3 Hero League game. That makes perfect sense. I might outplay my fellow Plats, but I deserve to be there because I play with my friends. I don't care about that rank. I've queued up and I've lost a lot. So that's where the game put me. Not as many people have played as much Team League as I have. So it's just going to take time for that matchmaker to even learn about you, to get you into your proper place as long as you keep playing. But the science of the fun of it, how we can encourage people to keep playing. And I'm not talking about rewards. I'm talking about those are fun games. Let's keep people playing them.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I'm also kind of like, this is all still new to me, so I'm not sure how concerned to be.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to numbers over a longer period of time. Really, we're just going to have to see what happens. And what we can see on Hot Slogs isn't even perfect, right? It's just who has the Hot Slogs uploader. Those are the statistics we're looking at.
It doesn't seem like there's enough room here for Heroes Royale.
Oh. Well, I don't know.
It's a very interesting question. And we talked about this with Jeff a while ago now.
Would you be saying that had the Team League boost not happened this week?
That's the crazy thing, right? Like, would I be more scared of Mike Morhaime leaving if I didn't enjoy BFA? Well, yes. And if a lot of streamers are now playing Battle Right Royale instead of Hero League, in fact, tons have sworn off Hero League in the first place and are just playing Team League. What does that say? And there's so many people asking, is this the future of this game? Have we learned how to make a MOBA without the frustrations of relying on a team? And I wonder if the team is feeling that, what their opinion is.
Are you talking about Battle Right versus Team League?
I'm just talking about like what the future of MOBAs is. What in this new world of so many battle royales that have become the future of the MOBA experience. How is Heroes, the young kid on the block, the willing to try anything, crazy town, gonna react to this?
I don't know, but I think they're poised to react. I think the team has shown that they can make changes and rapidly iterate to a certain degree. I can already hear the comments being like, what about performance-based matchmaking? Oh, all right, calm down. but compared to every other Blizzard game, you can't deny the speed with which the Heroes team works. It's rather incredible. So I don't know. This is the kind of conversation that you would see me probably foaming at the mouth a little bit more and being a lot more ravenous to jump into feet first. If I hadn't just had a mind-blowing experience in Team League with friends, where to me it feels like, oh damn, like I know the whole episode is saying it's a little early. I don't want to overthink it. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But oh my god, I think they may have found something here. They may have figured something out. I love where you're taking it, where you're just like, if nothing else, get rid of the pick order, death to the pick order. I think that's a great place to start. That is like. I think that's a good concrete thing we can say. If nothing else, this is figured out. But I don't know. If I hadn't just had that Team League experience, I think I'd be sitting here being like, yeah, Battle Right looks great. Because I will say this. I haven't played Battle Right, but I've been watching quite a bit of it. It looks great. And even if Team League is the future for Heroes of the Storm, and it continues being as fun for me as it has been this week, that doesn't mean I don't want to see them try their own Heroes version of a Royale game.
Oh, well said. It's a fascinating evolution that feels like it's directly from the MOBA genre. Just as Deathmatch turned into, kind of a PUBG experience where you no longer have to wait for the whole team to die and then you do another match. You get out of there and you do your next thing.
Yeah.
And I haven't played it myself either.
Yeah. And for me personally, I prefer from an esports, from a watchability perspective, I lean towards isometric games. They're easier to follow. They're easier to comprehend from a spectator point of view. I really like PUBG. It's a game I was surprised last Christmas how much I found myself enjoying it, but it's difficult to watch. I think Fortnite is equally as difficult to watch. So from an esports, from a competitive perspective, I think the idea of finding a way to make that mode work in a isometric format is smart and something that excites me.
I hope we're there at BlizzCon and they're on stage saying Team League has been a huge success. And here's how we're going to encourage this game that old Dustin Bratter said so long ago was a team game first and foremost, to be more of that.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I guess my TLDR is if there is or is not a battle royale hero mode talked about or mentioned or announced, I'm fine either way.
Yeah,
because I'm really enjoying the game as it stands. I was enjoying it before Team League, not as much, but I was still enjoying it. I'm happy with the direction it's gone this year, so I'm excited going into BlizzCon one way or the other.
I love Infernal Shrines. Can I take a moment to say how much I love Infernal Shrines? It's my favorite map.
I think I'm with you, man. We played quite a few Cursed Hollow games together this week, and I'm like, you know what? I want to go back to Shrines. I love the Skeleton Pit fight. It's so interesting.
And I say that because I find this conversation so interesting. And I know the devs who are video gamers are looking at this phenomenon around them. And I wonder how they're going to adapt. I'm not begging for a battle royale here. I love heroes. I love Infernal Shrines. But I'm very curious to see what the future like, how we're going to digest these new thoughts and move forward.
Yeah. I'm just really stoked for BlizzCon now, man. It's right around the corner. It's like this year more than ever, it has snuck up on me in a way that I didn't know was possible. Like I'm looking at my calendar being like, oh my God, it's here. And now that the schedule is here, it feels real. It's actually going to happen. And I'm just excited for Heroes because I don't know what they're going to talk about. And that excites me.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we were to take just guesses, it feels like an Anduin sort of year to me. Like name another. That's hot.
Never put Anduin in the game and just get Uther a rework, please.
Yeah, there might be some overlap.
I don't know, man. I mentioned this. I put up a solo show yesterday that like broke down the whole schedule, and it got me back on my train of thought of there are not enough just units from Blizzard RTSs. Like I'm enough with the named heroes. Give me just a science vessel. Like I would be jazzed. But
unknown. It's going to be weird to see what it is.
Yeah. And that's what I find kind of fascinating about our talk here. We just spent almost 20 minutes talking about what we would like to see from BlizzCon, and we didn't mention heroes, like actual hero releases once. And part of that is because it's guaranteed, right? They're going to show a new hero. We've been having this conversation on the Angry Chicken about Hearthstone as well. Because folks are like, well, what are you bummed about tournament mode? What do you mean they don't put enough in the game? There's 3 expansions a year. It's like, no. The 3 expansions for that game are required. That is just like the blood in the veins that keeps that game alive. And it sounds bratty to say you expect it. It just needs to keep happening. It's everything ancillary to that kind of changes the game and keeps it fresh. And that is, I would apply that to Heroes of the Storm, saying new heroes coming out. It's going to happen. That's not a surprise. I mean, Cho'Gall was kind of a surprise. Okay, like there might be something like that blows our minds, but overall, we know there will be heroes. What I am excited about is what I don't know: systems, new forms of play, how they're reconciling what they're seeing with Team League. That's what I really want to go to BlizzCon and find out.
And so easy to say, Ragnaros, Alexstrasza, that's not that innovative. It was. It's the old Henry Ford, we were asking for a faster horse, and they're like, what you want is a car. And we're like, well, what's that?
Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about. Maybe you can tie that all the way back into J. Allen Brack becoming the president. And I'm just like, I mean, they're making Classic. You can be as mad at him as you want, but I find it kind of fascinating that he has been publicly not 100% on board with certain things that are happening anyway.
Yeah, I did some time walking this last week, and there's a lot of things you've forgotten that are very helpful in a modern video game, like having your screen shake or having flames be on the screen when you're currently on fire and not just going, why am I dying? What's the matter here?
It's all relative, I think. You know, if you're in classic and it's all like that, it's not going to seem as out of place. But yeah, Daryl, that would be a crowd pleaser. Could you imagine, Kyle, the roar of the crowd if One Zombie got announced?
Oh, that'd be pretty sweet. I mean, granted, the Alliance will all be a little confused, but yeah, I'd be very excited about that.
I don't know. I talked to a lot of Alliance players who haven't stepped 1 foot inside the Horde experience, and they even know who One Zombie is. So,
no, he's fantastic.
Best new character. Period.
Yeah.
Full stop. So we'll see. I'm just stoked for BlizzCon. So before we move into strategy, let's thank our patrons, dude, for supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. I mean, I don't know what to say that hasn't been said before. Like, it's nuts anytime I stop and think about it that we're getting paid to do this, that we can pay Jeff Kanata to join us once a month. I mean, we had so many guests for so long back in the StarCast days. It was, you know, you just had to hope that they would come and do it out of their own goodwill. Now we get to be like, hey, we can pay you for your time. And we really appreciate that. We really appreciate the support of everybody. And if you enjoy Into the Nexus, if you think to yourself, hey, I'm getting some value out of that, I want to give some value back, patreon.com/ITN is the place to go. We are still within distance of our next goal, which will allow us to pay pro players to join us once a month as well, bringing up our guest slots to 2 a month. Paid guest slots, getting them on. So if you like the show, help us get towards that goal. This week, we want to thank some of our newer patrons. Thank you to Dallas P., thank you to Colton D., and thank you to Craig S. These are not the newest. We thank in order so that we don't ever skip anybody. So if you just signed up and you haven't gotten thanked yet, don't worry. It just might be 2 months from now because y'all have been signing up fast and furious, and we appreciate it. So thank you, everybody. Now, Kyle, I want to know about solo queuing in Team League.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ah, that seems generous.
Yeah, no clue what that means.
So you did a whole stream of solo queue Team League.
Well, again, this happened twice. And both times I ended in a 5-stack.
Okay. So
you make friends, damn it.
So that's it. Group up with the people you won with. That's the end of our strategy segment.
Hey, you did it. No, but you got to get there first. And you got to look good doing it. And I tried a number of strategies. It's very easy to assume that you're the lone solo, which you might be. You might also be in a 5-stack of solos. There may be 2 solos and a 3. There may be 2 and then 3 solos. You don't know what you're going to be. But I found one way to be the best impact in this team mode. When you're doing Hero League, you pick your best. You pick your carry. That may be a support because you're just so nuanced in them. It may be that tank. It may actually be like Genji and running around and doing carry business. You may be farm carrying with split push Cigar and showing up at that perfect moment out of your Nidus to join the team fight, then back up top as you take that fort and 3-level lead. Those are all your personal tricks that you bring with anybody. Team League people want to play as a team. The problem with this is they really like fighting. As most Hero League or any Heroes players do, they want to fight and brawl forever. And they want to fight alongside their friends. And when solo queuing, the best impact I found was on a solo laner. And this isn't just your Blazes and your Rels and your Alarax or Malthiels or whatever you've kind of solo laned in the past, and particularly on something like Braxis. This solo laner needs to bring something special, and that's where you really make the friends, and that's where you really can kind of win the game. So you're going to be in that stack. They want to go fight. Be that person. They're not even communicating with you, maybe. You're not on their friends list. You're the fill. Be that distant lane who is crazy solid up there. And then when you show up for that team fight, bring something special. And in that way, I'd encourage you to get away from solo laners like Malthiel, like Zagara, Alarak, Phoenix. Get away from those carrier solo laners because you're going to want to be part of that team fight too. And it's not entirely clear what your job is when it's time to divide up. Be that solo agent. It's really empowering. And there's a number of ways this can kind of interact. My favorite was Falstad. And my favorite thing about Falstad, and I've complained about him in the past being made of paper, and he is, but we talked about on the show freezing the lane. Freezing the lane is a term, much like anchoring, one of these MOBA terms, where you let the XP come to you. You let the enemy guy farm your lane, push it out, and bring it towards your wall, onto your half of the map, safely so you don't die. You're never in any danger. When it's about to reach the wall, if you're a more tanky character, you can get out in front, maybe have that aggro of all the minions go onto you instead of dealing permanent tower damage. If you're a regen hero, this is a good play to make sure you just don't get worn down, letting yourself get pushed out. But you're just playing safe. Those 4 people, they're team players. They want to make ganks, and when they see you seducing that enemy onto your half of the map, they come in and they gank. And then you have this response on Falstad, for me, able to barrel roll forward and participate. But really, I'm able to play an active, passive play style, if you will. Letting the lane freeze, come to me, soaking to that last moment, then flying in heroically. And much like Garrett's Kerrigan, he stole all the show. I was playing great, John was playing great. But he stole the show with his fantastic arrivals, and this is how you're really going to make friends. Is flying in. Oh, that guy. What's he doing up there? I guess he's winning. Nothing. I haven't heard him die. He's soaking.
And then
I like that guy.
And then you show up and you ruin days.
Exactly. And my favorite one to do this has been on Falstad. Dahaka works as well. You're going to be more seduced. You got to be careful with yourself. On Dahaka, Yrel, Blaze, Arthas, Artanis, Leoric, Thrall. All these more melee regen-y heroes, you're going to want to get out there and you're going to want to try to steal their orb and outpush them. And you might be able to in some cases. But in a lot of ways, in a team league environment, you are denying your team a gank by being in the middle of the map fighting for no reason. Freezing lanes is really, really powerful in team league right now.
Yeah, like all it takes is patience with this more melee heavy. I mean, Sonya, I think, is a good example of a melee that can still do what you were talking about with Falstad as long as you land your spear.
Yes, that is true. And Sonya, Illidan, they can both go take a Merc camp without losing any energy, without, running out of mana, without losing all their health doing it. And it's worth saying they'll love you. They'll love you for it. Because you went and handled that lane that 4th deck didn't want to be a part of. They don't want to coordinate with their friend in some distant world who can't see what's going on, doesn't get to hang out. They want one guy, somebody on their team to head up there, handle everything for them. What, they took a Merc camp? This guy's fabulous. We love you.
Yeah. Yeah, I really dig it. Plus, it's a way, if you find freezing the lane to be a little bit boring, if you're also running a merking solo laner, it gives you an added thing to go and do to keep you engaged in the game.
Right. You like on Sonya right now, you can outpush. She's really a strong character now that a lot of those tanks have been worn down, particularly by their mana. You push them out, you go take that Merc camp, you come on back, and you participate again. That Merc camp's going in the lane, as we talked about in the past, while you join the team fight. Everyone acknowledges, even when the team fight goes, people in Team League are pretty positive. They'll be like, hey, check out that Merc camp go top. That's a fort. We got a fort out of all those deaths. And there's something to come back on.
I saw that so much from folks that weren't you. You're usually the only person I know is just going, hey, look at the value up top. Well, like 3 of us are dead. Being like, yeah, it's fine. Look at our levels. Still good, and we're about to gain another one because of that fort. But in our games with you, it wasn't you saying that. Other folks were in there being like, oh, yeah, look at that Merc value.
Lots of worth it plays in Team League.
Yeah.
And positive ones at that.
Only a lot of times it actually is worth it.
Yes, yeah, not some guy just trying to pass off how cool he is.
Yeah. Yes, I got my 8 Deathly Orc. It was worth it. That's how this hero is supposed to be played.
There's one other that I didn't mention here, and that's Ragnaros. In a team environment, he has a tool of his own, becoming that big old fortman. And that can be a pretty cool way to show up with your friends.
That and Lava
Make
Wave.
new friends.
That and Lava Wave, man. But the Ragnaroses we saw in Team League, again, it's like kind of like the Garrosh, except Garrosh, I was always playing against him, and I was having to relearn how to deal with that jerk. With Ragnaros, I felt like he was always on our team, and I was having to relearn how to maximize value out of all of the utility that he brings to a team fight.
Exactly. And like I said, there are other solo laners, some I didn't even mention. But those ones you'll often think about, like Malthael, Rexar, Zagara, Junkrat, Phoenix, Alarak, they're going to push, pull, do bear business that people aren't going to understand. You don't have that global to participate. And when Yrel and Blaze show up for a team fight, they already have a main tank with them. You are that secondary off tank, and you're bringing something special, something that's going to impact heavily, suddenly, that the rest of the enemy haven't experienced yet. And it's a great way to make friends.
Yeah. Well, this is cool, man. You're making me want to just, when you're not on, when some of my other buddies aren't on, just be like, screw it. I'm just going to solo queue Team League. Let's do this.
The queues are fast, and I had a really positive experience doing it. I really did struggle. I lost a lot of games figuring this out. I did my Johanna, who is my main in Hero League right now. Going for top damage. It's not as impactful without your buddy cleaning up after you with his sweet Kerrigan plays. This is the best way I found. And then you get in a team and you can pick whatever you want because you're all friends now.
Yeah, exactly. And you're talking. You're probably on comms. You'd be like, hey, you know what I really like? What is that? Zagara. Oh, all right. Show me.
Yeah.
Man, we had a Zagara in one of our team leagues. Like in the beginning, I was like, oh, man, just barking orders and not showing up to fights. And then I was just, by the end of it, I was like, I regret ever doubting you. Like the timing on this Zagara and the way that she just mastered the battleground presence. I was just like, oh, hats off. I couldn't have done it better.
Well, to be fair, we're legitimized in our fear there. As I remember it, the first two tributes on Cursed Hallow, Zagara said, don't go. I won't make it. And then come the third, they said, probably won't make it. And that's when you kind of go, well... They've gotten two, Zagara.
We need this. But that was where I don't know because we're not on comms. It was just text chat. But I feel like what happened there was we stalled. We made a decision. We're going to stall and hope that we spur Zagara into action. And then that's what happened. Zagara showed up. We ended up winning a very long team fight for that. What would have been their third tribute and ended up turning into our first tribute.
And granted, there the Nidus was very well laid out, and come level 10, Zagara was there for everything. And then the second it was over, they disappeared back to doing their
I forgot
business.
we were at level 10, and I started talking smack. It was another tribute. I'm like, where the hell is this Zagara? She's never going to show up until never mind.
Well, you looked at the minimap, you didn't even see her portrait. Your brain goes, she's dead because she's in a Nidus somewhere.
Yeah. So, whatever the case is, I'm just seeing some stars shine in Team League right now. It's a treat. It's an absolute treat. So, shall we wrap this up with an email or two?
Sounds good.
Darkness stopped calling.
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
Okay, tell him I'm not here.
Keep those emails coming, everyone. We don't have a lot that are post the changes that have recently rolled out. Not a lot of post Kerrigan, Brightwing, Team League changes emails. So write in to itncast@gmail.com so we can get some up-to-date email fodder. John writes in and says, big fan here, and I wanted to share a really positive HOTS experience I had recently. After feeling frustrated with the poor play of some of my teammates, I decided that instead of aggroing the team in chat, I should find a proactive way to help new players. I went to a new player chat and posted, veteran player offering coaching. I immediately got several responses and spent the afternoon with 2 new players, one at a time. I set them with quick cast, went into custom and showed them around XP, Vision, Stutter Stepping, and Merc camps. Then we played and pwned, because I carried, of course, a few quick matches together. I sent them off with Hotslogs, Kala, Not Paradox, and ITN as homework. It was mutually positive. They learned, and I made new friends. I'm gonna keep doing it. Anyhow, to encourage more of this, I thought the following minor changes could be made to Heroes of the Storm. Excuse me. Throat is drying up. Veterans Heroes players should be able to opt into a coaching role and new players to opt into the student or little sibling role. This could be very simple. Blizzard identifies that you have a certain player level, MMR, and non-toxic chat history, and gives you the opportunity to check the I want to coach a new player box. On the other end, new players, upon finishing the tutorial, have the option to check the I want to be connected with a coach box. The coach receives a notification in his or her social tab with the new player's account and reaches out to them with a friend request. They play heroes together and live happily ever after. He is basically describing Tinder for heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Got to swipe right on those coaches. Moving on. If you want to take a step forward further, you could direct the coach to a video on how to be a good teacher made by the one and only Kyle Fergusson, and have both the coach and student check I agree boxes at the end of a brief personal conduct contract. Thanks so much for your dedication to the community. I love your content. Keep it up. Two immediate thoughts. One, John, this is like the coolest, like, just social experiment I've ever seen. This is so kind-hearted, and I think it's awesome that you did this. Two, I don't consider this system simple, but I would love to see it.
I love that John was so upset with the level of plays he saw. He went grassroots on it. Just went straight to the source. I'm going to save someone else from this experience, and started training new players.
Yeah. I mean, this could be cool, right? This seems like an undertaking as far as coding is concerned.
Well, and we don't have the clan systems and all of that. It's interesting to look at what other games have done. We have the Recruit a Friend tool for getting, new heroes, the Vulture Bike rewards to encourage people to keep playing together, bonus XP when they group up with friends. It's interesting to see the coaching tools available in something like Dota. They are very intense. You can just put it at what perhaps impressed me so long back in the day. Now, 5 years ago, I could be in a coach spectator mode and draw on the map. And you would see that before you on the ground. You'd see my little doodles appearing, directing you where to go. And tools like that are just so amazing. But maybe with the Recruit a Friend tool, we could kind of encourage this sort of thing. And one thing that the Dota Recruit a Friend tool does is lets you know when they're playing. And not just on a friends list sort of thing, like lets you know that they've continued to play. Gives you some ideas, some statistics as to what they've been up to. And as you recruit players and as they level up, you get levels in your recruitment friend sort of profile. As someone who is good at recruiting, you find players and they keep playing. And that could be something that might be a little easier to implement. Just another score, your coaching score, instead of systems.
Yeah, I like all of that. I completely forgot about all the Dota 2 tools that they have, and it would be very, very cool to see that added into Heroes of the Storm. And of course, this opens the door to the social features, which I believe the game could use more of. Especially now that Team League seems to be a success. Let's get some more heavy duty social features into the game.
Yeah, if nothing else, that old make a team, like let's do that just for Tabard's sake, like maybe we get to design a banner. And it can be as tame as Diablo 3 even feels a little complicated in the heroes terms, but it could be tame. It could be choose between a toad or a chicken, Well, I mean, you want in your symbol.
You know what I'm thinking of, because my first thought when I heard about the community tab in World of Warcraft was World of Warcraft is the last Blizzard game that needs more social features. It has enough. But it's actually extremely helpful and fills a major gap that I guess I didn't realize was there once cross-server partying, raiding, dungeon running, PvPing, etc. Became a thing you can do in the game. So now give me that in Heroes, please.
Yeah, particularly the ability for us to organize people across multiple guilds. They don't have to leave their families, as it were, just to have a little bit of fun with us once a week over on the Frog Pants stream for raiding. The calendar That's amazing. Just the ability to let players know in a chat that we're all going to be on at a certain time, that I'm hosting viewer games on my channel at a certain time, that PTR games are going to be happening this day of the week, and to log in to your PTRs, all that stuff would just be fantastic.
Yeah, I would really dig it. So, get on it, I guess. Maybe we'll hear something at BlizzCon. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would. I'm not going to get my hopes up, and I wouldn't begrudge the team for not doing anything like that.
No, and I haven't really, like I said, for me, this has been spurred by the success of Team League, which I think it's new. It's a relatively new thing we're going through. So, I'm not sure how much I can expect what we're seeing with Team League right now to influence BlizzCon.
Yeah.
But whatever the case is, keep those emails coming to itncast@gmail.com, and that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Once again, we are supported by our badass patrons. If you would like to become an Into the Nexus patron, it's an opt-in subscription. You can give however much you would like. Head on over to patreon.com/ITN. And a big thanks to our producer patrons, Declan H., Cheesy Bob, and Pathagos. Thank you very much. Typically, you can catch us live on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/AMOVTV. I will be out next week, and there's a very good possibility I will be out the following week. So Kyle will be here, holding down the fort, probably with Jeff Kanata, probably with some other guests. Stay tuned. But Kyle, other than that, where can everybody find you?
If you would like to find these games that I've been talking about all week, they are live over at twitch.tv/Kyle Fergusson, but you can also find the VODs edited down for your enjoyment over at youtube.com/Kyle Fergusson. In fact, you can find the full 2-hour VOD of us playing Team League together over there. It's a fun one. Check it out for yourself.
If you want to hear me at my cockiest, watch that last game.
It's worth skipping forward. I have timestamps on it as well, if you want to skip straight to the final Towers of Doom game.
It was just smack talk, the Heroes game.
And you got sniped. And, I was maybe being a little casual. I wasn't putting up my screen protection that day, and it may have happened.
That's fine. That's fine, because it gave us that beautiful... I tapped into my inner early 2000s rap fan.
Yeah, you're B-stepping youth.
Anyways, folks, if you want to keep up with me while I'm out on the road, I am Garrett Art on Twitter. I'm going to be heading to North Carolina for the first time. Never been there before. I'll see what it's like, I guess. And I'm going to keep some of the shows rolling while I'm gone, but the internet is to be determined. So we'll see what happens. So follow me on Twitter. Everything I do can be found at amove.tv. There is a fresh episode of R2T2. If you're not familiar with it, that is my solo podcast. Lately, I've been doing Warcraft lore. And just yesterday, I put up an episode deconstructing everything on the BlizzCon schedule. So if you want to hear about Diablo, Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Heroes, and more, go check out R2T2. You can find it by searching for R2-T2, wherever podcasts can be found. Thank you for checking that out. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Into the Nexus. Kyle, we'll see you next week. I will see you as soon as I can. I will miss you all. But until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.
Woo! Whatever that weird clicking was came back a couple of times, but it was very short-lived. There it is again. That was weird.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it for like 40 minutes, and then I mentioned it, and it was weird. That's bizarre, huh?
Very bizarre.
That sounds like a power thing.
There's something again. Yeah, it does sound like a power thing, like some type of loose connection or wire getting old. It's the first time I've noticed it.
Weird. Did Chad hear it as well?
Probably, because it was showing up in the recording.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, it was pretty unnoticeable over the talking, which is, good. All right. Where's my countdown? 1. There it is. Did you hear that?
Oh, it was fun.
Oh no, it was 1. That was my countdown.
1.
Countdown at the beginning of the show. So, all right.
Weird stuff.
Yeah. Brr. So, that's that. I'm going to stop the stream now. Chat room, you've been awesome today. Thank you for hanging out with us. And for all the A-Move love. And, oh my God, this is my last stream for like 2 weeks. I'm going to miss you all.
Yeah, when you get back, we'll have to do a team league
Oh, yeah,
thing
man.
again.
Sign me up. As long as I don't come back and I'm like, oh my God, Kyle, I have so much work to do.
Yeah, well, that could happen too.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you, stream. See you later.